All right, here we go. I'm going to do 20 minutes again, and this is more of decoding the Bible. I have a little time, so I'm going to get it in right quick. Anyway, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, and please do that if you like what you're seeing, or even if you don't like what you're seeing, if you just want somebody, to be critical. Anyway. All right, so we're going to continue decoding the Bible. The first thing that we talked about was the fact that everyone is a manifester. Everyone is God, okay, so to speak. You're not the most, and once again, we'll explain, you're not the most high God. You're not the unseen God or the God of the creation, meaning that everything that you think about or everything that you try to manifest has to be manifested through the things that already exist in the universe. So the elements, the iron, the wood, everything else. So if you're, once again, the example, if you're trying to build a house, you have to think of it, of how you're going to design it, and then how you're going to build it, and then you have to do the work. Okay, so, and these once again are all universal principles. They are equally applied to everybody, which is one reason why I believe that this is part and parcel to being the Most High, because the Most High has to give everybody the same thing, and everybody gets the same thing equally. Doesn't matter race, religion, color, sexual orientation, any of that stuff. It doesn't matter. Everybody gets the same thing. The Bible refers to it as what? The rain falls on the just and the unjust, although I don't like that analogy. Why? Because everybody that the rain falls on is not unjust, and everybody that the rain falls on is not just, and it kind of puts divisions. But anyway, we'll just let that marinate with you for a minute. All right, so now I got my notes here, and so now the first thing you got to realize, there is a codus inscriptus. There's a code that is inscripted, and the script is the English language. The Bible and the dictionary written by the same people. Okay, so you have to realize, so that when they encoded the Bible into English, that's why you hear that all of that old English and all those different terms that are there, they're there because of the fact that that's what the code came from. The code came from the dictionary, and so the codus inscriptus, the code written in, has a certain meaning to it. So the word God in their coding, what it really meant was generator, operator, destroyer. Generator, operator, destroyer. So that is God. And so you have to realize that that's what you are. So the same thing when they talk about King of Kings and Lords of Lords and all of that kind of stuff, although they left the feminine energy out of it, and I'm going to show you exactly what they did in order to make sure that the feminine energy or the female energy was taken out of the picture. All right, so they took the original scriptures and they changed them around so that once again, spiritually, that women would not have any power, or basically women would not exist in the hierarchy as things would go. All right, so now that you know that you're a generator, operator, destroyer, and what do those words mean, right? Generator, it means that you produce something. Generator is what? Most of the time we think about generators, what do we think about? We think about electricity, we think about energy. And once again, that goes back to our chakras. The fact that those 7 chakras are the energy centers of the body. All right, and those chakras, the reason why the gospel can promise you eternal life is because we all know that what? Energy cannot be destroyed. All right, once energy is created, it can be transferred, it could be transformed, it could be transposed, it could be, but it's going to change, but it's never going to dissipate. In other words, is that energy, whatever energy that it is that you have, is going to always be there. It just might not be in the same form. Okay, and so if we know that is a universal law. All right, all energy, and you can ask a person that studies physics or whatever, and they will tell you, yes, if energy is created, then it can't be destroyed. It can be transformed or it can be changed, but it's always going to be there. Which is, and then you got to think about it. And this is what I was talking about at the end of the last segment, was the fact that when you talk about energy, you have to realize that yes, it's so you're permanent, and you also have to realize that you have many stages of consciousness. All right. So, and the last time I was talking about meditation and the fact that in meditation, there's like what we call the sweet spot. There's a spot there when you're meditating, when you are deep into your thoughts, and you can hear and you can think and you know where you are, but you're almost in a point of consciousness where you're actually asleep. And then even sleep is a different level of consciousness. Excuse me. So you look and you realize that sleep is a different level of consciousness, and you dream in sleep. Almost everybody dreams, whether you want to or not. Almost everybody dreams. And then there are people who have power to be able to control what they dream or who they see in their dreams. All right, in order to help them out spiritually, because that's part of your spiritual personality. That's part of your spiritual DNA. All right, so you have to look at it from the standpoint of all of this stuff. It's actually, it's in the Bible, but the problem is that when they took this information, they switched it around and they tried to make it secret. And the reason why was because they did not want you to realize that you are a generator, an operator, and a destroyer. And when we say operator, what do we mean? What do we, when we think of operation, we think of what? Work and movement, and putting whatever it was that was generated into motion. Okay, so, and that's what we do. All right, so and then so you got to look at it from the standpoint of, all right, now you are this operator, which means that whatever thoughts, whatever suggestions, whatever ideas that you gather, okay, you can put them into motion. And then finally, destroyer has a two-part connotation to it. One, it means that you have the power of the opposite, which is also universal law. Why? Because there is the law of polarity, meaning everything has an opposite. All right. So if you can create it, okay, except for your energy can't be destroyed, but you can destroy it by what? Transposing it into something else. And that's where the terminology of good and evil comes in, because I can take whatever I've created and I can use it for good or I can use it for evil. For example, the Chinese had gunpowder for thousands of years, and the only thing that they did with the gunpowder was they made fireworks and shot it off and enjoyed the things that they made out of it. They never used it to hurt anybody, right? And then Europeans got a hold of it, and what happened? They started making gunpowder for what? To fire guns, and they figured how to kill people with it. So one use good, the other use evil. So and also in the same thing, in the same vein, destruction can also be like for destroying things that you don't want to happen to your family or to your friends, right? So you can use that as a method of being able to destroy also. So sort of like kind of like what they say in church, like destroying yokes or breaking down strongholds and all that. So you can destroy things also with your creativity and with your mind. So you're a generator, operator, destroyer. Look the words up, and when you look them up, think about the encodus and scriptus. How does it encode, and what does it really mean in the world of spirituality, all right, and how it affects your spirit. All right, so the first thing we want to do now is we want to go and we want to start deciphering the scriptures, because the scriptures, like, the truth is in there, but if you don't know the truth, then you can't decipher it. I mean, or if you don't already think about it like this. You have to get the truth through your spirituality. You're not going to get the truth through reading man's words, okay? But the men who wrote the scriptures, they wrote down what they envisioned. So when people start talking about, it's holy, it's the word of God, and blah, 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 that's not true. All right, what it is it's remember I said the Bible is not a book of history, and it is not a prophetic book. What it is a book of astro-theology. Okay, so what it's doing is showing how do I relate to what is in the universe as a human being, and how does my life force and my energy relate to that as being a human being. All right, and the thing about it is it under the spirituality, and that's why I always say religion is evil. You know, spirituality is good. Why? Because spirituality is individual. It has, you know, religions make everybody do the same thing. Everybody line up. Everybody, you know, do this. Everybody, you know, do that. Everybody do this. If you don't do this, then you're going to hell. So there's always finites and there's always limits. And I think that people believe a lot of times they think that because of those limits, they feel more comfortable with limitations. But spirituality is unlimited, because you realize that, look, my consciousness, my level of consciousness can be changed, or it can transpose or go through different things that I'm going through. So I can use different levels of consciousness to help me out throughout my entire life here in this particular sphere. I can use whatever I need in order to help me. All right. So when we go to the scriptures, all right, and they talk about the beginning and the creation and this, that, and the other thing. Okay. And so then we get all of this thing, the Big Bang theory, the creationist theory, you know, is the Bible right? You know, well, obviously the Bible can't be right. Why? Because the Bible, by its own admission, is only 5,000 to 6,000 years old. We have stuff in museums that is older than the Bible. All right, so that is just not really feasible. You know, you can believe it if you want to, but and then the other thing, and then the Big Bang theory, feasible, but probably maybe, you know, we don't know. But even if there was a Big Bang, then what? It's energy. So there had to be some energy to cause the bang, right? So now we can talk about the Most High. Okay, so now think about this. And see, that's the other thing. You have to think outside the box. You can't think in the box, in this book box, in the Quran box, in the Bible box, you know, in the Torah box, you know, in the Veda box. You can't be in those boxes, because when you get in those boxes, what happens is you actually limit the Most High, or the power or the ability of the Most High. And that's something that you just don't want to do. Why? Because the Most High can do anything, right? Okay, so now think about it. If you're sitting here, you know, and you think about it from the standpoint of the ancients, because we know that the ancients, they created all of this. And when they created it, you know, all of the scriptures or whatever, it was just them sitting there, and there was nothing else on the earth. All right. And so you look up, and what do you see? People get mad. Oh, you worship the sun. Well, if you look up, you see, look, the one thing, universal law, once again, the sun, what does it do? It rises in the east and it sets in the west every single day. It doesn't change. And so you can look at things in the Bible, and we talk about east and west a lot. You know, there's a lot of scripture about east and west and the four corners of the earth and all of these different things. Well, those things are astro-theologics. Those are things that are basically explaining, you know, what God does. And we can show, okay, so you worship the sun, you know, you're in a cult and this, that, and the other thing. No, that's something that happens every day. And if it doesn't happen, let me tell you something. If the sun don't rise tomorrow, if the sun doesn't come out tomorrow, we're all dead. Guess what? All right. So that's what I'm trying to say. And everything on earth begins with the sun. Everything, because our oxygen is provided by plants. But if there's no sun, there are no plants. You know, the same thing with water. And you look at the different water, air, and the earth. Okay. Which are what? Which are the signs of what? The zodiac are all broken down into those elements. So when you sit up there, you go, oh, well, you know, yeah, those people that study astrology or they do this, that, and the other thing, they're evil. Well, no, they're not evil. They just looked and saw what was there, and then they surmised what it was that these different things did. Okay, and then when they encoded it into the Bible, once again, the encodus inscriptus, the script, read in, what they did was they created stories and things like that, allegories, metaphors, in order so that you could understand what they were talking about. Okay, so that the people, and this was only because you have to remember when the Bible came about, it was only for the aristocracy. People could not read the Bible. Okay, you couldn't just go and read the Bible. Only the scribes and the aristocracy were even allowed to touch the scriptures. So you can't say, oh, it was for everybody. This is a different day and age. I mean, anybody can go and get and get the versions of the Bible that are available. I mean, there are literally like hundreds of versions of the Bible. Okay. But so you have to understand that all of these things were only for the rich, the aristocracy, for the scribes and people that were well learned. If you weren't well learned, chances are you never even saw a Bible in your entire life. You never got a chance to hold on to the scriptures or anything like that. So and what I'm doing is I'm just breaking down how the King James Version, okay, is basically it is the white supremacy almanac, or I should say almanac. I guess almanac is not the right word, but it is the manifest destiny of the white race. And black people get mad at me when I say that, but Jesus is a white supremacist deity. That's what he is. Okay, and just like deities have been formed throughout history, like Christianity, Islam, and Judaism are not, the Judeo-Christian religions are the youngest religions on the face of the earth. There have been religions for thousands of years before that. And even when we talk about Ma'at and Hammurabi's Code, there have always been laws. There were laws long before the 10 Commandments or the 613 rules, laws, and commandments that are in the King James Version of the Bible. So we can't. So just being a logical thinker at all would just tell you that it can't possibly be true. It can't. Because you know that the things that are in the Bible, they already existed. So it's just like when we tell, and I've used the analogy of, it's just like when we tell people that Columbus discovered America, but we know that there were already people in America, whether they were Native Americans, whether they were Africans, whatever, even for that matter, even according to history, Leif Erikson got here before Columbus did. Even another European was here before Columbus, but we give the attributes of, oh, he discovered America, but he didn't. You can't discover something that's already there. So you can't say thou shalt not kill, but that was already a law 15,000 years. The Babylonian law was 15,000 years ago. So that's what I'm trying to say. So the laws in the Babylonian, spiritual system, it was already there. So how can it all of a sudden this is the new law or whatever? It's not. There's nothing. And once again, we go to one of those scriptures. There's nothing new under the sun. Why is it under the sun? Okay. There's nothing. Think about what it's saying, and not as much about the person that said it or anything like that, because that's how they get us twisted, and that's how they keep division. All of the Judeo-Christian religions were created to create division between people, and to create a way, a method of control and a method of not only control, but in order to take advantage of people. So it was done to be able to take advantage of the less fortunate, which is really the root of what? Capitalism. Because in order to be a capitalist, what do you have to do? You have to capitalize on somebody's misfortune or downtroddenness or, lack of something. And that's basically what capitalism is. And that's what these United States of America are. All right. So anyway, I can't, continue to go on today, but I'm going to do another segment tomorrow. So remember, generator, operator, destroyer, Codis and Scriptus. Get the dictionary, because the dictionary and the King James version of the Bible go hand in hand. And also read some Shakespeare, because and get those things about Sir Francis Bacon, Constantine, all of those people, because those are the people that you listen to, and those are the people that actually, if you're a Christian, those are the people who control your life. So get the Codis and Scriptus. That's going to do it for me. I love you all. Hit like, hit subscribe. Bye-bye.